election day. They were carting them out of what I, the fortunate, fire department, carting them out. She went running back. You got him an absentee ballot. That, and I mean, I adore it. I adore it.
Canvassing clerk for it.
Boy, but it was kind of, you know, she believed in both. That's ideal. That's all.
Yeah. We're good.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our January 8th Town Council meeting, first one of 2024. You guys are already standing. I got it. Wait, I'm getting nervous here. First, I got an evacuation plan. First, it's the evacuation plan. In the event of an emergency, 2 doors to your left, another one in front of council chambers. We'd exit the building, cross Middle Road and await further instruction at the school administration building. And now if we could all stand for a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence for our men and women serving in harm's way. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Okay, just a little housekeeping. We are live streaming tonight on Zoom. For those of you that would be participating remotely, if you're on Zoom, there is an icon to raise your hand. If you call in on your phone, it's *6 will allow you to mute and unmute your phone, and *9 will indicate that you have a question. Anybody that would be participating either remotely or in person tonight, please state your name and address for the town clerk. And with that, we will begin with our roll call.
Mr. Katzman,
Here.
Mr. Gleason,
Here.
Mr. Hamilton.
Here.
Mr. Levesque,
Here.
Mr. Aguirre.
Here. Okay, President's executive summary. There was no executive session, so we will.
Yes, there was.
Oh,
The 13th.
that's right. What's that? I was there. Yeah. There were 2 items, but no votes were taken on either item. So I do apologize for that. Was last year. I'll try to be better this year. So yeah, no votes were taken during those during the executive session. Our next item on the agenda is our presentations and recognitions. The presentation of the town flag we will have to be rescheduled. We'll do that at some point over the next couple of agendas. We'll work because our next 2 meetings are at the high school, followed by our return here on our next meeting in council chambers is February 12th. So we'll figure out what works best for rescheduling the flag presentation. Okay, consent agenda.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next, we'll be sitting as the Board of License Commissioners. First item, it's a daily liquor license, Class F1 Common Fence Point Improvement Association.
Move to approve for February 10th and appreciate them getting it in a month ahead of time.
Second.
Mr. President, I'm just going to err on the side of caution as a trustee. I'll be recusing myself.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gleason. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0 and 1 recusal.
Motion to adjourn as the Board of License Commissioners.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next, we have minutes from our December 11th meeting and our December 12th, which was the executive meeting.
Move to approve as presented.
Can I ask that we split them, because I was not able to participate in the.
Sure. Move to approve the December 11th.
Actually, you were there for part of it.
Part of
That's you,
it.
half of it.
Oh.
And you could technically vote on them, but
Yeah,
You,
you can technically vote on them, but let's, since you split, I'd second that.
Okay. So all those in favor on,
Moving
The 11th.
The 11th.
yes. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0 with 1
5-0.
5-0.
5-0.
All right,
Unless Daniela wants to yell aye, but she didn't hear what the motion was.
it's okay.
Now, a motion to approve the meetings from the executive session on December 12th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
An abundance of caution, let me ask that I be indicated not voting on that. We have plenty of votes.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have tax vouchers. It's tax voucher 2024-0108-01 to 2024-0108-02.
Move to approve.
I move that they be approved as requested by the tax collector.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Okay. Town Administrator's Report, Mr. Rayner.
Thank you, Mr. President, council and audience, both here and at home. Christmas tree pickups by Public Works started today. They started in precinct 2702. The pickups will continue throughout the week. Just a reminder that the trees that are picked up are mulched and offered to the public as free. For free. This week's schedule and more information can be found on the Public Works webpage. With regard to upcoming meetings, the president has already alluded to that. There will be a special meeting next Tuesday, January 16th at 7 p.m. in the Portsmouth High School auditorium. This will be a meeting to discuss and vote on the proposed host community agreement with South Coast Wind. Additionally, the January 22nd Town Council meeting will also be held at the Portsmouth High School auditorium. That meeting will start at 6 p.m. and the proposed waste collection RFP will be on that agenda. On Wednesday, January 24th, the Rhode Island Energy Facility Siting Board will hold a public hearing also at the high school auditorium. This will be a meeting to hear public comment on the Narragansett Electric Company's application for a license to mobilize and operate a liquefied natural gas or an LNG vaporization facility at the Old Mill Lane site before a final hearing on the matter by the EFSB at a later date. With regard to the audit, the town's 2023 audited financial statements were submitted to the Auditor General on December 20th. Those statements are posted on the Finance Department webpage, and we have asked the auditor to brief the council on the report at the February 12th Town Council meeting. I'll let you know when they've confirmed that date. And Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Rayner. All right, moving on to resignations and appointments.
Mr. President.
Sure.
If there are no objections, since these are all reappointments, I would like to move, we appoint them all, Tracy Stroll, Joe Forgione, Stephen Johnson, Terry Corcoran, Thomas Friedman, Jennifer Haga, and Benjamin Furriel to the respective committees that they've applied to.
All those in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. President, because of my relationship with the Portsmouth Housing Authority, I'm going to choose on the reappointments.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Levesque. So 4-5-0-1 recusal. Okay. All right, then we'll move on to old business. First item is the monthly finance report. Ms. Marsden?
Good evening, Mr. President and Honorable Council. As of the end of November, the town was 5 months or 42% through fiscal year 2024. Year-to-date general fund revenues were at 42% of total budget. Primary sources were town clerk receipts, interest income, tax receipts, and state aid. Year-to-date general fund expenditures were at 41% of the total budget. With that said, we are projecting to stay on track for meeting the targeted budget. As Mr. Rayner has mentioned, the FY 23 audit has been completed and financial statements have been published. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
Move to receive and place on file.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Okay. Moving faster than I was ready. Okay, moving on to new business. First item, it's request approval of a resolution regarding the restoration of general revenue sharing to cities and towns. Mr. Hamilton.
This is just a resolution that was requested by our state legislatures to codify our request to reinstate general revenue sharing that we spoke about at our last meeting. It's been tweaked to and updated for this year, and I asked for approval.
If that's a motion. I'll-
Motion to approve said resolution.
Second.
Any further questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Okay, thank you, Mr. Hamilton. And then moving on to new business number 2, it's a request of approval of resolution and requesting amendment to Rhode Island General Laws, Chapter 44-3. Terry's not here, but yeah.
Mr. President, yeah, I'm gonna recuse. This is a request from the Housing Authority with respect to their status as a tax entity or taxable entity. I am still in a quasi position with them, so I will recuse myself from the discussion.
Hi, Charlene Stoker, 12 Fort Street. Just as a member of the Portsmouth Housing Authority, I just wanted to see if it could be tabled, hold off on the resolution, to have the board members talk about it. This was totally new, wasn't shared with us before. And then also, as you know, the sale of the property is still not approved through HUD. So that's just what I wanted to say, just, in regards to Quaker Manor properties.
Okay.
Thank you.
Back on the 28th of August.
What was that, Mr. Rayner?
Yeah, the council has already approved the pilot agreement. The resolution is required by the state legislature so that they can get it under docket by the end of the year. But in principle, well, not in principle, in actual fact, you've already approved the pilot arrangement at your level.
What is the time pressure on it? Since we've already done it, but in a sense, we've already approved it, but they've asked for, the General Assembly has asked for a resolution?
Yeah, that's the way the pilots
Right.
work. They all have to
And
be
then-
approved by the
And,
legislature.
and then, so if this were to be delayed by, say, 2 weeks,
Yeah, I'm just letting you know, this isn't the first time you've seen this.
Yeah.
I believe the request is in Representative Corcoran's name. She is asking for the authority to at least say that the council resolution in support of it. This is just for information purposes. Charles Lebec, 542 Park Avenue.
It was new business number 2, should be new business number 1, because we heard 2 before 1 that night for some reason.
Can I add something?
And was approved.
No.
5011.
Mr. Gavin.
Yeah.
Mr. Gavin?
Yes, the arrangement was approved. It was just conditioned on enabling authority and Rep. Corcoran, there's certain procedural rules in effect this year about introducing legislation and the number of bills that a representative can introduce. And I think so that's a concern of hers in terms of timing, the beginning of the session, submitting legislation. So she just wanted, if there's a resolution of the local community, then it doesn't count toward your cap of bills that you can introduce as a representative.
I see.
And again, as Mr. Rayner said, the whole proposal was discussed at an open meeting back in August and approved. So this is just sort of a technicality.
I appreciate the member of the public's statement on that. I forget the position you have, but I'm inclined to move forward with it.
And Mr. Rayner, this is the resolution that was basically the follow-up from our prior action by the council. That's kind of the summary of what,
Correct. Representative Corbrian had asked for the resolution, I believe, at that meeting, but you had passed it with the council that the resolution would be passed at a future meeting.
If I'm not mistaken, this was also to allow for stability in the taxes to help with the sale of the property.
Correct.
Yes.
This is one of the things that's, it's all part of a bundle.
okay.
I have a question. Mr. Rayner, it looks like it's written strictly for Quaker Manor. Wouldn't apply to any other nonprofits in town.
No.
Motion to approve the resolution as written.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0 with one recusal from Mr. Levesque. Okay. Next, we have correspondence.
Move to receive and place on file.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Future meetings. Again, next week is January 16th. It's a special meeting on Tuesday at the Portsmouth High School Auditorium, followed by January 22nd at 6 p.m. also at the Portsmouth High School Auditorium. Then we return February 12th and February 26th back here in Town Council Chambers.
Motion to adjourn.
1 second. It has been in the press, so I'm not speaking out of school. The town has received I believe, a suit against them. And I believe we need to have a meeting in which we refer it to to the trust, to our insurer.
No, there's no monetary damages requested in the suit. The solicitor can speak to this more articulately, but it's not a trust matter. So the filing was due today and it was filed this afternoon with our response.
As far as future meetings goes, there's no thing that we need to. Okay,
No.
thank you.
All right.
So we have a motion to adjourn in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you all, and we
Next
will
Tuesday.
see you next Tuesday.